Sirens and mermaids, two mythical or real creatures. Sirens and mermaids are examples of the two categories of water animals that are frequently depicted in popular culture. Nevertheless, despite their resemblances, the two are actually quite distinct species of mythological creatures, with one being a kind, shy marine creature, and the other being a fearsome monster notorious for consuming unknowing humans. Today, we bring you two mythological creatures that you might not know a lot about. You probably think these creatures are like what you've read in storybooks, such as The Little Mermaid. Wait till you see what we have for you today. Strap in and prepare to have your minds blown. The most interesting feature between these two creatures is that they both have the same physical characteristic. That is, having a human head and a different animal body. Sirens. Sirens are the edgy, dark sisters of the mermaids. The mythological sea monsters known as sirens are thought to be wicked. They are typically portrayed as gorgeous creatures with the lower limbs being in the form of another animal. But they can also be frightening, humanoid beasts with vicious teeth who tear apart humans. With their seductive songs, sirens are infamous for drawing sailors in before killing them. While the human race is fascinated by tales of these lethal, entrancing creatures, sirens are prevalent in literature, mythology, art, and culture. The concept of sirens raises a lot of issues. Sirens are less well known than their mermaid cousin and are mysterious in nature. There is some knowledge about sirens that may be gleaned from tales, programs, films, and mythology. The river god Aeolus is often said to be the father of the sirens, with one of the 9 muses, typically Calliope, Terpsichore, Melpomene, or Sterope, being cited as the mother. Are sirens evil? Sirens are thought to be malicious. There are legends of sirens that sing to seafarers and induce trances before killing them. One could contend that sirens are simply physiologically predisposed to kill, much like animals who harm humans or other animals. Sirens can be deadly in a number of ways. Sailors are drawn to them because of both their beautiful appearance and their melancholy singing. In an attempt to pursue the siren, the sailors will dive into the ocean, where they will either be pulled to the bottom of the sea or devoured by the sirens. The ships of sailors were also known to be lured into rocks by sirens, where they would crash and perish. Shape-shifting. One of the powers sometimes attributed to sirens is shape-shifting. Film and media portray sirens as having the ability to change into people. This is depicted in the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean film and the television program Siren. The siren's capacity to transform into a human is basically a literary device that depends on the author or storyteller. Through all forms of media, sirens are portrayed differently. Mermaids. Mermaids are mythical aquatic creatures with a human woman's head, upper body, and fishtail. Several cultures around the world, including those in Europe, Asia, and Africa, have mermaid legends. The most well-known attribute of mermaids is their beauty and allure. Most mythology contains some kind of these beings. These creatures' only goals are to lure men into their traps, seize control of their bodies and minds, and then force the men to do whatever they desire. The mermaid would probably murder the man in the end, or turn him into a copy of herself. Sometimes dangerous occurrences like floods, storms, shipwrecks, and drownings are connected to mermaids. They can be kind or generous in different folk traditions, or occasionally even within the same traditions, dispensing blessings or falling in love with people. The merman, who is also a well-known character in folklore and heraldry, is the male equal of the mermaid. Although mermen have fewer legends and sightings than mermaids, it is generally accepted that they coexist with their female counterparts. Sometimes the term merfolk, or merpeople, refers to both the male and female together. However, mermaids in other cultures are also very different from the ones in Europe. For example, mermaids were known as Jyorin, Sinjik, and Ningyo in China, Korea, and Japan, respectively. These monsters were frequently enigmatic marine creatures who either tricked people into dying or forewarned them of coming disasters. Melusine, a water spirit that resided in streams, ponds, lakes, and rivers, was the mermaid of Germanic tradition. Melusine was a woman who is typically shown as being half human and half fae, and is sometimes seen as being part serpent or fairy. In reality, the Germanic Holy Roman Empire's ruling house of Luxembourg asserts that it is descended from Melusine. Physical features of a mermaid. Compared to women or fish combined, mermaids have a wide variety of physical characteristics. In practically every mythology that they appear in, these monsters had fish bodies and human heads. Long hair, piercing eyes, bigger lips, and cheeks are just a few of their stunning feminine traits. With small forearms, breasts, and waists, their upper bodies are also feminine. The Little Mermaid. This is a Disney animated picture based on the same-named Hans Christian Andersen story, and is arguably the most well-known mermaid representation of them all. The Little Mermaid is set in an undersea kingdom off the coast of Denmark, where a mermaid decides to give up her mermaid identity in order to become human and wed the man she loves. These two creatures from the Greek mythology are considerably different from one another, as well as having many other things in common. They have some similarities as well as some differences. Let's dive into the similarities first. Similarities between sirens and mermaids. In mythology, mermaids and sirens are both represented as attractive, somewhat human beings that lived in seas and oceans. Numerous folkloric traditions from all over the world hold that capturing a mermaid or a siren will result in the creature granting you a wish, or in some cases, a magical item, in exchange for their freedom. As a result, these creatures are frequently thought to be magical. Both are frequently portrayed as being unbelievably gorgeous women, who frequently cause men to become hopelessly enamored with them. Most of the time, either because of their beauty or their magic, sirens and mermaids will find themselves irresistibly attracting the men. The parallels between them end with their shared looks, beauty, and place of residence. Differences between sirens and mermaids. The fundamental distinction between sirens and mermaids is that sirens are typically portrayed as wicked temptresses who seduce sailors to their deaths, whilst mermaids are typically portrayed as benign, non-violent beings that attempt to spend their lives free of human intervention. The sirens and mermaids of mythology can be very different from how we see them in current times, despite the fact that these portrayals are based on their individual mythological origins. Yet, liberties were taken by different painters over the centuries in their depictions. Are sirens and mermaids real? Many people have wondered if these creatures are real. There is no evidence to support the existence of sirens and mermaids. Sirens are mythical and legendary creatures, and it was the Greek mythology that gave rise to the siren. Despite stories of creatures like sirens and mermaids, these assertions have not been supported by any conclusive evidence. Many hoaxes involving purported siren or mermaid bodies have also been made. However, they have all been disproven. The parody film, Mermaids, The Body Discovered, tells the story of mermaids who resemble sirens and other horrible creatures. But all of the footage is phony. Sirens are not likely to exist. Only reports of mermaids exist, and the majority of those are thought to be manatees that were mistaken for mermaids. With time, folklore and mythology develop. Currently, and probably in the future, the term siren simply refers to a mermaid. The sirens of classical Greece, however, have a rich thematic quality that makes them deserving of remembrance. They were ethereal beings on a lonely island who floated between life and death and sang an enticing song of both. There are many water temptresses, but the sirens impart knowledge. Mermaids and sirens are two separate fabled creatures that have captured people's imaginations for generations. They are not the same creature, despite having similarities in their appearance and abilities. Mermaids are thought to have come from Norse mythology, while sirens are thought to have made their roots in Greek mythology. Also, they each have unique physical characteristics and narratives attached to them. Nonetheless, It's possible that the mermaid and the siren's respective concepts inspired one another. And this is where our time together ends for today. It's been an exciting peek into the lives of these mythological creatures. Tell us how thrilling the ride's been in the comment section below. For more awesome content, please click the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on our incredibly amazing content. Till we meet again, stay frosty.